Welcome back, everyone. Here in front of us, we have what we picked up at the Sports Card Expo here in Toronto, the biggest card show this city has to offer. And I did not focus on sports or hockey whatsoever. I only focused on Pokémon, which is an absolute first for me, and it was such a blast. Starting us off, I'm going to take us to the end of the show, which was on a Sunday. As I was walking out the door, there was a vendor trying to sell their last 3 Elite Trainer boxes of Paldean Fates for a really good price, which I couldn't turn down, so I picked them all up. As we go over the pulls, I have to reiterate how much fun I had at this show. I went on the Friday and the Sunday, skipped out on the Saturday because that's a really busy day. And you know, here in Canada, it's hockey playoffs. I didn't want to have to get my elbows out. My team is golfing anyway. But I do have to say, I've never felt so welcomed into a community. I've never seen these people before, and people were coming up to me. They were asking to see what was in my Pelican case, if I had anything for sale, what was my PC, general talk about the hobby, and I felt like I was taken care of. So if you've never been to a show, I highly encourage you to try one out. Next up, we have a card that I traded a bunch of my bulk for. The vendor was extremely happy to accept all the bulk because these were all binder cards, as he said, and he was happy to sell them individually. And I traded for this Mewtwo and Mew GX Black Star promo, which I've always wanted, and I'm really glad to add it to the collection. I purposely showed this card first because there's still one more card that we pulled from Paldean Fates, but I'm going to save it for later, and let's move on to some of the graded stuff. This card brings a smile to my face because as I was looking for this card, I literally saw someone trying to sell this to a vendor. So I reached out to the gentleman and I told him I was interested in buying it. I don't think the vendor was too happy because they wanted to sell it to me, but I bought it straight from the gentleman. I even bought a second card from him, which I'll show later on, but we got to talking and he told me he was also a YouTuber. Here's his info, so please go check him out. He was a really nice guy. Meanwhile, I'm flapping around this PSA 10 full art version of the legendary bird trio from Hidden Fates. This was the last copy I needed because now I have all 4 copies of the legendary birds from Hidden Fates in a PSA 10. I really felt like a kid in a candy shop because my attention was going all over the place looking at cards, but I had to stay on track. So I found this Venusaur in a PSA 10 from Celebrations, and I knew I had to get this because I already had the Blastoise in my personal collection, and you can't just have 2, you need all 3. And I've already seen a few vendors selling the Charizard copy, so I went out and I picked one up to complete the trio. And I can't believe I'm holding these 3 cards because these 3 Pokemon is what started so many people's Pokemon journeys. These 3 have also caused tons of fights at who was the best, and if you had any of these 3 cards from base set when growing up, you were the cool kid and you made it. Now that's enough reminiscing from me. Next up, we have a Gem Mint copy of this Mewtwo V-Star from Crown Zenith, which is a really cool card because this is Mewtwo's point of view from the battle it's having with Charizard, and here's Charizard's point of view that was released from an Ultra Premium Collection box. Also, this Mewtwo V-Star is the second card I purchased from the YouTuber that I met at the show. There's only 3 cards left to show, and I'm so excited to show the final card that was pulled from the 3 Paldean Fates Elite Trainer boxes. You guys have no idea how excited I was to pull this card because this was a huge chase card for me. I needed this in my personal collection and I happened to pull it. This Charizard was one of 2 cards I was not leaving the show without, and I pulled it. I've been collecting sport cards for years, and this is the most excited I've ever been when pulling something. So we're down to the final 2 pickups, and based off of that reaction, it should be to no one's surprise that the SIR copy of the Charizard from Obsidian Flames was also on my radar. I've had my eye on this card since it's come out, but I never pulled the trigger until now, and I'm so happy I did. This card, I can't stop looking at it. I just like it so much. Now, moving on to the final pickup of the show. We've already pulled it. but now we have a Gem Mint 10 in the collection, and I really need to know from all of you, which special illustration rare do you prefer? Do you prefer the one from Paldean Fates or Obsidian Flames? I really want to know, so please write down in the comments. And if Charizard isn't your thing, let me know what your favorite pickup was from the video. So there you have it. Here's one final look at all the cards from the Expo, and until next time everyone, take care, peace.